Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
It is picked off by the line. Darius Slay's got it. Coming back right side, 25. Picks up a block at the 30. Darius at the 40.
Drink it in, drink it in. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Rolls to the right. Stafford throws deep. Got a man out there. End zone. Caught. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Stafford!
Drink it in, drink it in.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread.
Stafford! Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what is going on, everybody? Wednesday, we are here, and I sound jacked up, but I definitely have been in depression over this football game on Sunday. Everybody in Detroit knows what I'm talking about. We're going to detail it all today. It's going to be full of rants. We're going to be full of energy. We're going to have some arguments. Definitely disappointment over this football game, but got to introduce the man of the hour, Grifka. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, man, it's nice that football season's back, but you're right, man. Still have that punched in the gut feeling right now.
Oh, my goodness. I told a buddy it was one of the top 10. This is in my top 10 of hardest Detroit or just sports games in general to stomach. You know, that's how bad it was on Sunday for me.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, you know, I talk with a buddy at work, and he's always like, you know, I don't talk crap because stuff always seems to go awry. And, you know, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Twitter and people are posting all stuff. And I'm just like, man, I should post something. And I just like, no, I'm not. Something always seems to go awry. And it just, you know, I'm like, oh, gosh. But we'll get into it here. We can talk about it.
It doesn't surprise me at all that. So you're that guy, or the other guy at work is that guy? Because
he's that guy that never talks junk about like, oh, you know, we're going to kick your butt. We're going to do this. And in the middle of the game, talk about how bad somebody, you know, for like his favorite team, you know,
yeah.
And I don't do that either. I'm just like, it always seems like, you know, I'm, you know, tempting fate, you know, so I try not to do that, but I guess it doesn't matter. So
Grifka, it doesn't surprise me at all that you're that guy, and it annoys me because you know you want to. And the other thing is, there's nothing wrong with talking a little junk, having a little fun. The problem is the person that does it afterwards, that goes your style. Oh man, I just see what happens on Saturday or Sunday, whatever it is, and then their team wins or something, and they come back yakking. You got to yak in the beginning, and then deal with it if they lose, or like if you yak in the beginning, you get to have fun afterwards if your team takes care of business. So that's how it works, man.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's a couple guys at work that are always yakking. They're Ohio State fans, so we get along. We get along good, so we'll yak back and forth that way. And we always bet like a pop and stuff, and he'll bet me on a pop, and I'm like, okay. He's like, Michigan's playing this guy, bet you pop, and I'll be like, okay, Ohio State's playing this team, I'll bet you pop, and you know, it's always nice like that. But you know, when he'll like call me up for something. He's like, did I tell you that Michigan sucks? And that's always his opening line. It's just like, yeah, once or twice you've said it, so you know, like what you need, you know, stuff like that. So
I just see Grifko like, you know, biting his tongue, or like thinking that if you make some comment about the game that it's somehow going to impact the outcome. That's what I see you doing. Why you don't do it, because you think if you say something that somehow that's going to jinx everything. That's right. What I see from you.
Well, let's put it this way. It's fun. I'm not a superstitious person. Like Friday the 13th is coming up, and I don't care, and I don't care about walking under ladders and opening umbrellas in the building and spilling salt. But when it comes to like sports, I used to play rec basketball, and it's just like, and if we won, I would wear the same undershirt under my jersey without washing it, you know, after the prior game. And if we lost, okay, I would wash it, and I would switch the shirt. I would wear a completely different shirt. It sounds stupid. Same thing.
It is stupid.
Same thing when I played, like, you know, rec softball, did the same. Didn't wash the socks if we won, and one year we were really good. So, like, my socks, needless to say, were utterly terrible, and I actually had to wear, like, a pair of other socks underneath my socks because they were that disgusting, you know. So, but it's funny, I'm like superstitious when it comes to sports, but I'm not when it, like just regular things like black cats, you know, stuff, breaking a mirror. And so I'm like, that's just stupid. When it comes to sports, I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like when I would play like I said, I played baseball, and I'm just like, don't walk on the line. What are you doing? It's like a dragged infield. What are you doing? You don't walk on a dragged infield before the game. What are you thinking?
Grifka, hold on. You're breaking some rules right now. Come on, you're getting out of hand for a lot of different ways. Now, do you still do this with the Lions? We got to move this show on, but do you still do this stupid crap?
Okay, here's to be honest with you. Get the bell. To be honest with you, if it was like one of those things, like I wore like a Lions t-shirt and they won, I would find that same Lions t-shirt the next week and wear it again during the game. Okay, this is the one I wore. I know it's not affecting Stafford throwing or Slay making plays or anything like that, but in my mind it does. They know I'm here supporting them, wearing this t-shirt. Like, we got to do this for Mike because he's got that same t-shirt that he wore last week. So yes,
got sports team.
Yep, got sports team.
But, Grifka, but this is again where you lie to the people. You only have one Lions shirt. I mean, I had to go out of my way to thank you for your hilarity and give you some Lions gear because you have one shirt, one hat. That's all you have.
You should. Well, you saw the one I would wear out in public, like when we go by. I had a couple shirts that were there were like holes underneath the arms and like the bottom seams getting all chewed up. Like ones that like during the summer and spring I'm wearing like cutting the grass and stuff like that. And like fall season I can't wear that for anything else. Those are the shirts I would wear because all the luck is still in them. You see, that's how it works.
Nah. Oh my goodness. Well, okay. So we can blame you for all these losses in the past decade with your shirts and your superstitions. You just got to talk junk, have fun, deal with the outcomes, and that's what we're gonna do today. But so Grifka, no real news and notes off the top, right? Nothing big.
No, nothing big besides let's talk about this game.
All right, let's get into it. Let's take a break, get a couple of our good sponsors in here, and then when we come back, I'm going to start it off right, Grifka. It's going to be a tough game to talk about. There's going to be some big issues, some big arguments me and you got to have about a few football players. And I think when we come back from the break, I'll kick it off right with a couple Carusos that hit me right before we came on live here. So we'll do that when we get back. Sound like a plan?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to these Carusos, man, because I always jack them up, and you always got to correct me on them. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, everybody, please listen to our sponsors. Please visit their websites. Please, use their services. We'll be right back.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
All right, everybody, we're back. Told you before the break that it's going to be a tough football game to talk about, but we're going to start off with two Carusos. He's just hit me, Grifka. These are basically live off the cuff. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. I'm dying for these.
All right, let's see if I can nail this. Well, Griff, I guess you could say Sunday in Arizona, it just wasn't in the cards. All right, so that was number one, and then this gem hit me. Well, Griff, if R. Kelly made a song about the game, it might be something like, I believe we can tie. So, okay, that's what I got.
That one, that second one was better than the first one. The second one was better.
Oh man, little fun off the top. Got both those in. Again, I've been teaching people on Twitter the Carusos, and I do them on the show. I do the well Griff, but when I do them on Twitter, it's well Frank. It's a shout out to Frank Ribble. It's a shout out to how I always heard him back in the day. And then I tell people the punchline comes at the end. You got to set it up. It doesn't have to be exactly like a player's name or this. It has to be an innuendo to something, but you set it up. And then you pause, and then you hit it, and then you got to hit the music. So people have been having fun with those, sending us like their best Carusos with a little Twitter link to the music, stuff like that. Super funny. So there's our laugh, Griffin. Now we actually got to talk about this game. So
okay. Wait, yeah, man. Down the mood.
Sunday in Arizona, man. I don't know how we're gonna tackle this, but of course you know me. I'm gonna start just with some absolute Detroit Kool-Aid right out the get-go. I mean, Grifka, we played so well in this football game. Kyler Murray couldn't do a damn thing. Matt Stafford had that fire back in his eyes, as well as that right arm of his. Like, he's slinging around. He's making good decisions. You know, Carry-On didn't get firing like I like to see him. But other than that, we're doing big things. I mean, this guy, I believe he's going to come up probably in the next segment. But TJ Hawkinson was doing real big things all over the football field. I mean, we're dominating this game for 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, it goes what I like to call Grifka. And you know what happened from there. So, Grifka, what the hell happened in the fourth quarter? I'm sure you'd like to tackle that part.
They went all Lions is what they did. The stuff you always like yelling for. They went all Lions.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, to be more specific, once again, I'm going to, debate Matt Pat and what he said, how they kept the pedal to the metal and they kept playing aggressive. You could see it in the fourth quarter. What they really did is the defensive backs, they played a little more nickel. They took Snacks Harrison out. He didn't play nearly as much in the fourth quarter. Probably realizing they're up 18 points and thinking that they're going to, obviously the Cardinals are going to pass. And I know the mindset, it's one of those things that coaches do. It's let them complete all the stuff in front of them. Don't let plays get behind you. And that's what they were doing. They were playing so soft and for as bad as Murray looked with his accuracy, he was trying to fit balls in tight windows when the Lions were pressing and they were playing close and the cushion wasn't there. And then they started to give the cush, so it's just it's an easy, toss and catch is what it is, and it just got him a lot of confidence is what it did. And Matt Pat can say, "Oh no, we kept it going." No, you didn't. Everybody saw it. I mean, there was plays they're running stick routes to get the first down, and the guys are breaking the routes off at the sticks, and your guy is still 5 yards behind him. And like I said, don't let him get past. Don't let him get by him. But still, I mean, all it did was give Murray all this confidence because the pass rush did wear down. It did. I mean, they were chasing him around a lot. I mean, they really were. The Lions were getting some pressure in. Kennard 3 sacks. And even when they didn't sack him, they were chasing around. His first interception, they were chasing around. So, yeah, they probably did get a little tired. And I can't understand, Harrison, yeah, he's not known as a pass rusher, but he was out there. He knocked down, 2 or 3 balls? I can't understand why they pulled him more, to put what was it? Kevin Strong, I believe is who got a lot more snaps, and he really didn't show up. So that's my biggest problem there is that they kind of went prevent-esque and just to kind of keep the clock rolling, and the rookie quarterback just got a lot of confidence going.
All right. Can you take a breath, Grifka?
Yeah, that's kind of what I did there before I went on to the offensive side of the ball. So go ahead. You can rebut and tell me how the defense still played well.
Okay, yes, I would like to get back to some positives, and I will address some of the things you said as well. So a couple things you missed. The guy formerly known as 747, had one of the greater interceptions I've ever seen. The go-go gadget arms were in full effect, went up and got the football. A little toe drag swag for Nate Burleson right on the sideline, dropped those 2 toes in for an incredible interception. Yeah, in the beginning, I think Kyler Murray had 70 yards through 3 quarters. He couldn't run. He couldn't throw. He couldn't complete anything. We were playing just solid defense. Like you said, Kennard's getting after the quarterback. We're setting edges. Trey Flowers is still not even firing on full cylinder like I hoped he would. He's sort of in and out. I thought our, without Jared Davis, I thought, linebacking play was pretty good. My guy of the game, who you kind of just brushed over, but you did say they were playing tighter early. I want to say Rashad Melvin had one of the greater football games I've ever watched from a Lions cornerback. Every time they threw it, this guy is getting his hand on the football. I probably had 3-4 PBUs. He was just sticking to his guy like glue and got his hand on the football. All he didn't do was take one back or house it or whatever, but played great. I just kept yelling at my TV going Rashad Melvin's balling out. Remember I was sort of wishy-washy on the guy, what's he done, this and the other. Man, I loved how he played, but then of course he goes down sort of the worst moments and has a little sometimes I get annoyed when they barely go over to the sideline. They might run into somebody and they like have to check out for a play. It's like there's no grit. Like, it's like you're a football player. You take way worse hits in a game, but you barely touch a cameraman or fall off to the sideline weird. And it's like, oh, I need a couple plays off. Like, we need you at that point in the game. So I didn't like that from them. But, I mean, yeah, the defense played well. I mean, every time you thought something bad was maybe going to happen or tide was going to turn, the offense, too, would make a throw or two. And, I mean, the touchdown to Kenny, I mean, you had to love the high stepper. Just was a beauty to watch. I mean, gosh, there was so much to love about it. And like you say, to address some of your points, I mean, maybe they pulled back a little bit, but like you said, you're up 18. I mean, there's no way that they should have been able to put together the type of things they put together in those heaves where he just heaved it up and Larry Fitzgerald just turns 8 ways to Sunday and finds the football. I mean, yeah, go try to do those ever again. Like, there was just so many things that annoyed me. And like, to sum it all up, I know we'll probably still go back and forth a little bit here, but I loved how the Lions played. I was so jacked up after the Hawkinson touchdown to put them up, and it's the fourth quarter. And then by the time the game ended, I was like breathing a sigh of relief saying, like, I still hate it, but thank goodness we tied, because I swear we were beat at least 3-4 times there at the end, and we somehow like got lucky to pull out a tie is how I felt. I mean, I hate a tie. It feels like a loss, but we were very fortunate, I think, the way that we kind of crumbled there and the way the Lions just could not make a play. Then in overtime, they go right down the field, and then somehow we stiffen up. Like, I mean, I guess the positive I can spin is it wasn't a loss, and you did make a few plays there to sort of get the tie, but yeah, it's just ridiculous that they were able to continually make plays. Even the 2-point conversion was too easy. It was like, I was like, all right, here, just stop this 2-point like we did against Carolina, end this football game. And they just run like a play you'd run on the first day of mini camp. Like Tracy, I don't know what he was doing. He couldn't get over the pick they said or whatever it was. And just frustrating how simple that was to not only score the points, but to make that crucial play look so easy. Very frustrating. So, all right, now I'm out of breath.
It's okay, because now we're going to talk about the offense, what happened. Like you said, the offense was really opening it up. I mean, they at one point, they kept showing stats talking about how Bevel wanted to come in and, make it more balanced, and it was. And even the running game, it just didn't seem to get going very well. But when Stafford needed to make a pass, he was doing it. He was fitting in nice windows. He had I know you're going to bring up Hawkinson. I realize that, so I'll save that for you. But the one pass play that he actually made to Jesse James kind of bracketed, and he still fitted in that tight window. And James made a great catch. He really did. And, it was a nice catch, ran for a first down. And there were some other catches, other throws he made to Amendola, really nice. Marvin Jones had a great game, as well. And whenever they needed the pass, it was there. But then once again, in the fourth quarter, one of those things, you don't want to make the mistake, and it just became run, pass. It became, very easy to telegraph, this is what they're going to do. And the defense could, obviously jam the line a little more and leave him third and long. And sorry, man, Taylor Decker, he's probably the worst offensive lineman on this team. He sucks. Okay, get your little punch thing out, like boom, boom, boom. Next time he sees me, what? The next time he'll see me, he'll just hold me, or I'll just run right by him and watch, and he can like stumble over his own feet, and he can yell at Stafford, "Hey, somebody's coming!" Because that happened a whole bunch too. Hey, and don't get me wrong, I realize, like you said, Terrell Suggs, he's good, but the guy's old. Come on, man, you're the left tackle. You're supposed to take out guys who've been in the league, longer than Jim Brown. Okay, I mean, give me a break. Chandler Jones, he had his way a little bit with Rick Wagner, but that's your left tackle. I mean, there was a couple of them. It's just like, come on, dude. Are you even trying? I mean, really, are you really trying? It's like, here, Matt, let me help you pick you up. Sorry about that. Got him next time. And like my favorite thing, like where he taps his hand on his chest, like, my bad. Yeah, we know it's your bad. Everybody freaking saw it, you piece of garbage. You suck, dude. I mean, sorry. Bye, Taylor Decker. You're trash, dude. Go get another block O on your other arm there, stud. Yeah, like I always say before, you're not gonna bring it. Nobody's gonna mistake you for Orlando Pace, okay? Gosh, you're hot garbage, dude. Get out of here. Yeah,
Grifka,
I'd rather go waste another first-round pick on a good left tackle as opposed to some average piece of trash. I know I compare him to Jeff Backus. I'm starting to think that's a disservice to Jeff Backus. That's how crappy Taylor Decker is. Okay, he sucks. Your turn.
Griff, I was about to say, are you really about to do a whole Taylor Decker rant and not compare him to Jeff Backus? But you got it in, so good for you. That's another bill. Grifka, like, we got so much to do in this show. We can't belabor all these points. I know the people want to hear our takes on the game. We knew you were going to get this in. Why? Because he played terrible, and anybody with two eyes can see that. So you did have a good rant, but it's picking on the obvious, and you just wanted to get it in because you've been saying he's not great.
He's not that great.
And he proved that this week. I mean, again, I've been standing up for the guy mostly because I want to see him, do this to you. Wait for it. Or the choke slam that I've been talking about. But like everybody has a terrible day at the office. Everybody that watched this game knows this was a terrible game doesn't matter what the jersey name says. I mean, he was off. Had 4 or 5 penalties. He gave up some sacks. He gave up like 7 or 8 pressures. So did Rick Wagner, by the way, your other favorite player. It was an absolute debacle. But I mean, again, you don't just grade a player on one day or one terrible game. Yeah, you haven't liked him, and yeah, he hasn't been an elite Pro Bowler, but again, you can't have those at every position. So yeah, if he comes out the next couple of games and is an absolute sieve, yeah, we've got a huge issue, and we're going to address that issue either in the draft, free agency, whatever it is moving forward. But maybe he bounces back. So like this is Grifka syndrome, where you're sitting in your lazy boy rocking back and forth. You watch the game and you're just going to go nuts on this guy. And it's like, what if he comes back next week and you don't hear his name once? Then what?
I would be utterly surprised considering he's going up against Joey Bosa.
Right.
I would be amazed by that.
We'll keep an eye on it because everybody's got their bullseye right on this guy, and for good reason after the way he played on Sunday. But it doesn't come down just to one player. So, good rant on Taylor Decker. You got that in. Grifka, let's keep this show moving. We'll continue to talk about the game a little bit. But since you got that in, I got a little rant for you. It's about this guy named TJ Hawkinson. I like to call him TD Hawkinson, the Hawkamania. Oh, baby, if we're going to say that, we might as well get the music out. Hawkamania, Grifka, was running wild, brother. He had the 20-inch pythons. He was eating the vitamins. He had it all going. You know why? Because you're talking smack about him all day, every day, saying this guy was no good, couldn't play. And I was telling you he's going to be stud. You said, he might put up a couple catches a game, maybe 20, 30 yards. You know what TJ Hawkinson did on Sunday, Grifka, as a rookie in his first NFL game? Yeah, $130 plus and a touch. How do you like that, son? Because I was just loving it all day long. He's catching the ball fluidly. He's running after the catch. Matt Stafford throwing an absolute, I don't even know what you call it. It was like a fadeaway jump ball across the grain, and it just looked like a layup for both of them. He just went up and snagged it like no big deal. Threw the old Hawk spike down, which is going to be the new hotness in Detroit. Everybody's going to be waiting for the Hawk spike. And you're sitting over there hating it. I just let you sit on it too. I didn't send one text. I didn't say one word. I sent one tweet right before we went on the air today, which was just TJ Hawkinson saying, it doesn't matter what my stats are. It's all about the team. And I was just like, let me just tag Grifka in this because I haven't said a word. So Grifka, you've been beating up on Hawkinson. He's their number 8 pick. It just pisses me off because he's on our football team and he's super important and he goes and balls out. What do you guys say for yourself?
Well, yeah. I said it preview in the last show. I go, maybe they'll get him in the office, be nice offense. It's nice to see. But yeah, he had a great game. He really did. There was times he was just running wild and free. I'm just like, nobody's guarding this guy. And like you said, we were chatting, before this. It's just like teams will adjust to him. Teams will adjust to him. That's what it is. Then that means Bevel's going to have to change to get him back open again. I mean, it's one of those things.
Give me your take again that you put on Twitter after everybody was hitting you up saying, what now, Grifka? What about Hawkinson now? What'd you say?
Defenses will adjust to him.
No. You don't like that call. I don't like that call. Not a very good call.
had to drop the hammer on you because I saw that on Twitter and I'm like, look at this. This guy plays on the Detroit Lions. This guy has put up 130 and a touchdown at the tight end position in the opener. Basically, single-handedly helped us, get up 18 and win this football game. And your take was, oh, defenses will catch up. Watch. It's like you wanted him to suck the next few games. Like it pissed me off so bad. That's not a good call. That's not a very good call.
If everybody's expecting 150 yards and 2 touches, it's not going to happen. Defenses will adjust. I mean, it's
not.
NFL.
But you know what a Lions fan would say? Oh man, I was wrong. Like, man, he's having a great game. Maybe I was wrong. He's a great football player. It's not. Nobody is saying he's going to put up these numbers all day, every day. But for you not to even acknowledge and act like, well, I sure hope the LA Chargers take him out next week so I can go tell the people how much I hate tight ends again.
So I mean, once again, for you bagging on me for picking on Taylor Decker, like, oh, that's easy pickings. I'm sorry, this is like easy pickings on me. Yeah, I didn't think he'd have a great game. He had a great game. Oh, this is going to happen every week. No, it won't. Defenses will adjust.
Did I say it's going to happen every week? I'm talking about right now, and I'm talking about you going on Twitter
he
and just going,
he had one
oh,
game.
defenses will catch up.
He had one good game, and now everybody's like, oh, my gosh, you'll get us bust out for Canton. Get the yellow jacket sized right now. Come on, he had one game.
Grifka, do I need to go pull the tape where you said he'd probably have 300 yards and a couple touchdowns for the year?
No, I mean, I know I said it. I'll stand by it. I mean, come on.
All right, well, he'd have to average about 5 to 10 yards a game for the rest of the year for your prediction to come true. I'm just letting you know. No, you're not the best with math sometimes.
It's okay.
So that's my Hawkinson rant. Now, Grifka, here's what a noble person would do. So you ranted about Taylor Decker. I gave a little back just saying, like, hey, let's see how he plays. I just got after you for T.J. Hawkinson because the people wanted it and they knew it was coming. And I was glad I got it out of my system. Hawkamania is going to be running wild all season long. Stats, no stats. The guy's going to block, catch, score touchdowns, be an absolute fan favorite for Detroit. So a noble man would say, okay, Grifka, there's a certain other player that's often spoken about on this show that had kind of a rough week, and you have a certain take on him that the people love to hear every week. So I'm going to cue up the soundbite, and then you can take, I don't know, maybe a minute or two to beat me up about this. So this is your wonderful take that, at least in week 1, actually came true.
I'm like, that's Baker Mayfield right there. Baker. Yeah, I just want to let you know. He sucks, okay? Yeah, there you go. Mark it down.
Mark it down. Week 1, he sucked. Go ahead. You've got about a minute before I drop the hammer on you again.
Oh, you're going to come back and tell me how good he was. Yeah, he looked really awesome out there. He had one good drive, and I'm like, I'm watching this game. I'm thinking I'm going to watch a Cleveland Browns game just so I can look at him. And he had one game, and he drove him down the first drive. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm going to hear about this, how great he is. And then he turned into Baker Mayfield. And I'm like, yep. What happened? The defense adjusted. And like the coaches, which on paper, Cleveland should have wiped the floor with these guys. But no, Baker Mayfield just, hadn't had a nice time, throwing the ball to like nobody or throwing it to the other team. So yeah, Baker Mayfield turned into Baker Mayfield. So that's what happens when you play in a college division or a college conference where they play zero defense, and then you actually got to play somebody that actually like has some tape on you and they know how to adjust, and everybody on the field's fast. So nice job, Baker Mayfield. Looking forward to all these awesome stats and picks that you throw this year. Now that, you have, the NFL now has enough tape on you to like, yeah, he sucks at this and sucks at this. All we got to do is take away this and he'll turn into like a crappy quarterback. Oh, wait, he's not turning into a crappy. He already is a crappy quarterback. So he is what he thought he was. So.
Okay. Are you done?
Yep. I hope I took my whole minute there. I don't know if you got a clock on me or not.
Yeah, I was about to drop the hammer, but yeah, I'm going to admit it. Again, a noble man would say, yes, he played terrible in week 1. And this is why me and you yell at each other every few episodes, because you think that this one game makes his career. I think you're forgetting the guy threw for about 30 touchdowns last year. He's just getting going with these new weapons that he has. So yeah, I was disappointed. Yeah, he killed me in a couple fantasy football leagues, but it's 1 week, man. Like, same with the Lions. 1 week, terrible loss. Like, let's get over it. Let's keep this thing moving. So I'm not worried about it, but Baker Mayfield, I hate to do this to you, but I got to give you this soundbite.
That's pitiful. I mean, it's absolutely pitiful to perform like that. Pitiful. It sucked. It stunk.
That's from Jim Mora, from me to you, Baker Mayfield. And I guess I might as well give you one other one while I'm sitting here.
Step your game up.
Let's go. He's going to turn it around. Monday Night Football. You watch yourself if he's, as long as his hand is good. So anyway, I know it was the Lion show, but people love the Baker Mayfield gimmick on the show. We had to give it to him. Grifka, I got a couple of voicemails, a couple funny ones. These are ones I've actually meant to play the last week or two, and we just got busy. So I think I'm going to hit you with them. And like I say, these people make me laugh, and had a just kind of a funny call. So I thought I'd play them on the show. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to this first guy and listen close. You got to tell me what his name is. The guy's got an incredible delivery. Then
we're going to McFarlane or whatever that one guy was.
LaFergus Nuggets is not called back. We're waiting on him. We hope so. We're encouraging all the Kool-Aid drinkers to call in and be funny and have a take that doesn't suck, as Jim Rome would say. But
wait, what's that number they got to call again? That number's 989-272-3484. That's the number, right? Yeah, 989-272-3484.
That's good, cheap.
We're looking for you.
Exactly. We definitely want LaFergus call back in. That was classic stuff. And we want everybody to call in. Good, cheap plug by Grifka. Grifka, give this guy a listen.
Hey, man, this is Bob Bunker. I'm glad if I got into the Detroit Koolaid, man. That's what's up. Yeah, I just want to talk to Grifka. Grifka, man, what's happening, brother? Yeah, man, TJ Hawkinson rules, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what's up, man. And Derek Okery, man, let me talk to you, brother. Man, how long does it take to restore the roar, man? We've been here restore the roar for a few years, man.
Yeah,
man, that's what's up. Just wanted to say what's up to you fellas. Oh, man, hold on. What, Mom? Oh, man, I got to go. B&B out.
Oh, my goodness. Well, there's so much to unpack on that call, Grifka. Did you make out the name? I think it was either Bob Barker or Bob in his bunker. I don't know what was going on there.
I thought it was Mushmouth from Fat Albert. But
that's what he's saying, man. Can we get a caller that can pronounce my name right? I mean, I did like his take where he got after you about TJ Hawkinson, thought he's going to ball out. He asked me about restoring the roar. Yeah, Bob or whatever your name is. I'm waiting for it. I sure hope so. So,
Hawkinson
appreciate the call.
Defenses will adjust, people. There you go.
Oh my God. Griff guy jumped through the phone right now. You realize he's on our team, right? You do know that.
Yeah, okay. But then, like I said, it's Bevel's job to adjust the offense to get him open again. So okay. It's Bevel's job to call a timeout right when Matt Pat's Matt Pat call a timeout. Stafford doesn't know what he's doing. This would ice the game. So
okay, let's get to the timeout in a second. But we got one of the people's favorites here, so we got to play him. Good old Conrad from Huntsville, Alabama called in. He's got a little something for. I can't remember if this is both of us. This actually was last week. His prediction for the game. I forgot to get it on the show. Conrad, here you go, buddy.
Hey, look here. Hey. It's for Conrad down here in Huntsville, Alabama. I just want to make sure that I called in with my prediction for Sunday for all these Detroit Lions football game. Now, before I do, I just want to play a little jingle that I wrote for my good friend Grifsky. Now, I'm taking a little page out of my buddy Notorious B.I.G. So here we go. A 1, a 2, a Grifsky, can't you see? Sometimes your takes just irritate me, and I can't stand your negativity. And I guess that's why their name and talk is cheap. Thank you very much.
Incredible.
So anyway, going back to the Lions, now, down here in Alabama, roll tide, baby. We're going with the Detroit victory. 33 for the Lions. 24 for the Cardinals. 1-0. Let's go, Conrad. Oh
my goodness.
I love when Conrad calls in.
Another classic. Oh my goodness. Grifka, what do you got to say about that?
I'm starting to think me and Conrad need to have some sort of sing-off, but
yeah, he just put you in songs like you did Martha Ford back in the day.
We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to put a compilation disc together, and maybe that'd be great. Sell that or something like that. You know, he's like
man.
Detroit Koolaid's greatest hits, man. That'd be awesome.
Oh, no doubt. If there's more hours in the day, I got to get all these calls I got together. I got to get LaFerge's, the Conrad Classics, all these things. And the same guy that played the first time called in again, and I thought it was humorous enough to put him back on the show. So let's get him in here again. Still don't know his actual name.
Yeah, man. This is Bob Bunker calling in again, man. Let me tell you, man, I'm here to get my predicament on the Detroit Lions season, man. I think they're going to go 10-6, man.
10-6, man.
6. I think Matthew Stafford, man, he's going to throw about 40 touchdowns, 30 of them to TJ Hawkinson, man.
Wow.
That's what's up, man. Man, I really like this show, man. I just don't like the whole Roll Tide baby thing, man.
Uh-oh.
Why we let Roll Tide call here, man? You know why people in Alabama say Roll Tide? Because they can't spell elephant, man. All right, B&B out.
Oh, he closed it with some fire. Oh, man, we have a Conrad, and I got to get this guy's name. I swear it's Bob. We're going to call him Bob. Bob with some straight fire at Conrad, man. I bet he loves our intro. He's probably like, drink it in, man. And then he just talks like that all day long. But 10-6, he's got Stafford throwing a bunch of touchdowns and a crack on Alabama fans. So what'd you think about that, Grifka? Man.
I love that word. They say roll tide because they don't know how to spell elephant. That's awesome. That's great. Bob, I mean, please let us know where you're from, just so Conrad can come back. Maybe. I mean, you're going out there, throwing it out there, saying, hey, guys, don't know how to spell elephant. Please let Conrad know, because I'm sure Conrad would love to retort. I don't know if Conrad knows what retort means, but he would love to clap back at you. Wait, hold on. He would love to respond to you, Bob. So.
Oh, man. I thought, like I said, the call line is always open. We're really hoping people will take advantage of these games. I know this one was a tough one, but before the game, call up, give your prediction. I mean, Conrad was pretty close, man. 30, 31, 24, I think he was. That was a pretty good guess. We love it beforehand if we can get those on before the game happens. But like I said, if you make me laugh, you do something funny, if you have a good take about the Lions, or if you're just fired up and have some just absolute venom to spit, you'll probably get on the show as well. But we try to pick and choose a few, and I thought those guys were good. So we got those in. Grifka, I beat you up about your Twitter BS earlier. Before we get to, how do you feel after this game, let's talk about that timeout for a second. So, my quick take is, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I feel like the clock was running down. I wasn't sure if they're going to get it off. It's a crucial play. I've seen it many a times in football where either that'll happen or the old ice the kicker where they kind of unsure and then they call timeout and you deal with whatever happens afterwards. So whoever called it's not really my concern. Stafford going on about trust me and all these videos. It's like, would you have said that? Would you have blown up if you would have hiked it and they would have just killed you and for a sack or something? Would you be yelling, trust me? No, you'd be like, man, why didn't you call a timeout? You could see the clock was running down. It just works both ways, I think, a lot of times. So I'm with Pat, where it's just like, whatever happened, you had another play. You drew up a terrible play. You just flung it up in the air, which Stafford did that a few times. The only one I liked was that, I think it was an overtime where he threw kind of that fade away to Kenny Golladay, and Golladay went up and actually caught the dang thing. It looked like that catch he had against the Panthers where he's basically sideways and the guy ripped it out of his hands this time. But, they just didn't call a good play, didn't execute well on that second try, and, woulda, coulda, shoulda on the one that they did get off. Who knows what happens there, So that's my take.
Yeah, the timeout thing, like you said, it's going down there. And I know there's points in that game I'm watching. I'm like, snap the ball, snap the ball, snap the ball. Like the one where obviously earlier in the game where there's that whole thing now. If you clap multiple times, you can get called for a false start. That's why Arizona, they're like, oh, that's why Arizona doesn't do it anymore. And they said it's only – it doesn't go into effect if the clock's running down, and that's why Stafford was clapping a whole bunch. So he's obviously seeing that. But at that point in the game when that clock was – he wasn't doing that. So I don't know. I don't want to say it was covered, but the hardest part was like you said, the play they came back with, obviously the one they had drew up, obviously was like, okay, this one's going to work. And it worked. But then, a timeout happens. You have to change your set because coaches are going to be like, well, okay, this is how we're going to adjust. And you're right. It looked like everybody's running go routes. I mean, nobody was at the sticks on any of that stuff. Everybody was like 15, 20 yards downfield, and just heaved it up to a bunch of guys that were covered. So it's just the play they came back with, it wasn't that great. So, I don't know.
Let me come back. I mean, we pretty much agree, as you would say, on that. A couple quick things I didn't get in earlier. Hey, Jamal Agnew, you drop one more football on a punt, I'm cutting you and sending you to the local bowling alley to hang out with former Lions that work there, because I'm sick and tired of this guy. You have like two jobs. One is catch the football on punts and kicks. The other one is, hey, when they do put you in to actually cover people, how about you do it for once? Because towards the end of the game, it was just catch on Jamal Agnew every play. Reminded me I had nightmares of Nevin Lawson running through my head. So
yeah, it's like I said, all those stick routes, man. He was just like, everything was just a stick route against him, and he was still 4 yards behind him, and his break back was terrible. And it's just like, I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, it's Agnew. I'm like, gosh, like what the heck is he doing in there? And they just kept throwing right at him. It's just like, it was just so annoying.
Yeah, that was brutal, and like you say, man, just wish we could have found a way to get this W and had some chances to either put our foot on the pedal or to even win it kind of in overtime there. And even at the end of regulation, I think Stafford again had 50 seconds and the whole team just did not execute well. So this is just
what's Amendola trying to turn it upfield to get more yards? It's just like, I mean, he caught it on the sidelines. I'm like, step out of bounds, and he turned in.
He had to try to not go out of bounds. Like he had to really give effort to not go out.
And then the worst part was the guy comes up to make the tackle, and he tries to juke him, and he goes farther into the field. He doesn't even break before the sideline. It's just like. Right. What are you thinking, dude?
No, there's no even reason. Like, that's almost why I didn't bring it up, because it was just so ridiculous. It's just like, how does a vet do that? How does a guy like that's that close to the sideline with less than 40 seconds, 50 seconds left do that? Just absolutely embarrassing. I mean, gosh, there was a couple blunders there that, like you say, just one or two go another way, and we walk out of there with a big dub. So, Grifka, how do you feel after this game? I mean, are you there with me? That was in your top 10 of just absolute heartbreakers. I mean, has it settled in now? Is it better? I mean, what's your thoughts?
It's gonna be there. It's almost kind of like, I don't say a scar, but it just feels like a loss. And it's like, you tied. It's like, yeah, they didn't tie one of the top 5 teams. If it happened against the Rams, I'd be disappointed. It's like, well, okay, they were supposed to lose to the Rams, or the Patriots. Okay, they're supposed to lose to the Patriots. I could live with that, but like everything was just like that was a rookie quarterback, a rookie head coach in the NFL, and you pretty much got out coached in that fourth quarter. I mean, no matter what Matt Pat says, we still pressed. No, you really went soft is what you did, and you played not to lose as opposed to playing to win. So that it's gonna sting for a while. It's like me and you talk. When you lose a game that you should win, you have to go win a game that nobody thinks you're gonna win. So that's what this is to me. It's a loss. So now you have to go win a game against nobody thinks you're gonna beat the Chiefs. Nobody thinks you're gonna go into Philly and beat Philadelphia. It's like one of those games. Now you have to go win to make up for this, to get the records that we predicted. So that's kind of like one of those things I always look at right there. So it feels like a loss, and now they have to go win one of those games that, like, at Minnesota or something like that. So it just makes it difficult to reach the goals that they're trying to get. So it's.
Yeah, here's my positive spin for the Lions Kool-Aid drinkers. Like I say, on Sunday, I mean, I just couldn't believe it. Like, it's the first game of the year, so I was, as jacked up as could be. I felt like I was in this game for 4 quarters, even with not feeling well, kind of my back, neck was all jacked up. But I was like, man, I just wanted this win so bad. I thought we had it in the bag. So, like, the positives are the team, played well. I mean, can't take it away from them. Like, the way Matt Stafford played, if we get that for even – 3 quarters, not 80% of the season, we'll be more than happy. I mean, receivers made plays, tight ends obviously made plays, running game, can always get better, but you're not going to have every area just clicking on full cylinders. There's always going to be a spot or two, but overall, I thought they played well. I think overall the defense played really well. They just totally collapsed, and I still can't even figure out how or why. I don't feel like anything crazy was being done that sort of just flipped the script like that. It was just little dinks and dunks and those big chucks to Fitzy. So, hang on to that we did play well. We should have won the game. Everybody knows we should have won the game. The other thing is, like I always tell you, Grifka, you always want to flip out about, like, you watch a guy and, he made a couple bad plays, so he must be a bad football player. What about every other play he makes? That's counts exactly the same, if not way more than a couple little things. Same with football. Like, you cannot – every NFL game is super important and way more important than most other sports, as me and you have discussed before. But – one game doesn't make or break your year right now. Like, you could look back, and if you're one game out of the playoffs, yeah, oh my gosh, how do we let that game in Arizona get away? But you come back and you play an incredible game against the Chargers and get a home dub that a lot of people probably don't think or didn't think we'd get. Like you say, it sort of makes up for it. You go to Philly, play really well, and maybe come out of there with a W. So, like, I think they have plenty of time to correct this, but I don't want to go back where you were going, but I guess, like, I'm just with you on the, you can't kind of choke or get out coached in these late game situations. You got to have a little more decisiveness, that Matt Pat side grin that he does a lot. It's kind of like, no, you should be the general in there, like, helping get us going straight. But like I said, it's one game, it's week one, plenty of football left, and everybody stayed healthy pretty much for the most part. I hear good reports on Jared Davis. It was nice to see that Ragnow was able to get in there. So my big thing is, what are they going to do in the next, 4 to 6 weeks? And then we'll really know kind of where this tie falls on the radar, as well as what kind of football team they are, because we kind of walk out of there both with some question marks and some pluses. And the only big minus is sort of that whole end of the football game, which, again, everyone remembers the end, right? Of most things, the beginning or the end. And the beginning we were great, the end we were terrible. So I think that Lions fans can hold on to that 3 quarters, 75% of the game we were great, good to great. And, I think that's able to be replicated. But, like you say, somebody was asking me about it, and I just said, 1 week at a time. I'm not going to get ahead of myself of what's going to happen against the Chargers. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to predict where they're going to be in the first 6 games. I want to just sit there now and say, okay, just find a way to score one more point than Chargers. That's really all I want. So hopefully they can go out and do that, but we'll talk about that on Friday. So you got anything else? We've got a few, we want to get a few fan questions in before we get out of here.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, perfect. I shot out a Twitter right before our show, so didn't give you guys much time, but just put a hashtag #AskDKC for Detroit Koolaid Cast, hashtag #AskDKC. So we're going to try to do that a little more often and see if we can get you guys sending us questions. Always helps if you can do it a couple days before we record here on a Wednesday. We can get you in, but a few people sent in questions, so we'll just fire these off kind of rapid fire. We'll give our guy a shout out here at the beginning. Frank Ribble sent this question in. He said, will the Lions defense be able to put more pressure on a less mobile quarterback this upcoming Sunday?
I sure hope so. It's nice when you're playing against more of a statuesque quarterback, but Phillip Rivers has a quick release, so the Lions don't blitz a whole lot, and maybe it's one of those things they bring Kennard off the edge a little more to do that. It didn't seem like Okora got a whole lot of pressure. Flowers, he didn't get a whole lot of pressure. So maybe that was by design to try to keep Kyler Murray in the pocket to make him throw the ball. So yeah, like a less mobile quarterback, I could see them maybe blitzing a little more just to get some more pressure on him, simply because Rivers does have. He has a quick release, and he's pretty accurate with the football. So yeah, I would very much like it if they blitzed a little more to get pressure on him.
All right. Well, real quick, Ribble, I got issues with you because you're saying get after, put more pressure. Devon Kennard had 3 sacks, and I felt like we were getting after Kyler Murray. That's why he couldn't complete a ball. He couldn't run because all our gaps were filled, and we were getting upfield a lot. There was even a few times where he scrambled out, got lucky to get the ball away, or a couple of good sacks that were good 10 yards in the backfield. Like, I felt like overall our pressure was fine. I mean, yeah, you can go back and watch the tape. There's a few times where we get locked up and he's got all day to throw, but I mean, I chalked that up as a pretty good pressure game against a guy like Kyler Murray, as well as not letting him run around and get rushing yards. So I feel like their pressure was fine, if not good in that game. And yeah, when Flowers is on all cylinders, and yeah, you've got more statuesque Rivers back there, yeah, I think we'll be able to create a little more havoc. But I was totally fine with the pressure and to get the type of sacks and disruption that we had. So issue with that, but I will give you a quick shout out, Frank Ribble, because I was trying to find this earlier. I think it's when after Conrad's call or when we had another wow moment, I was going to give you this classic that you left on the voicemail.
Here's a real wow for you. Wow! How about this one? Wow!
How do you like Frank Ribble's wows, Grifka?
I love them. Those are better than mine.
But are they better than, I don't know, this?
Wow.
Absolutely not. Oh, man. The original wow will always be the greatest wow.
Wow.
It's close, but you're right. The original's good.
Grifka, next question. Will Deshaun Hand play on Sunday?
I hope so, because I think maybe that's why they played Kevin Strong more, to try to get, like you said, that pass rush. But Deshaun Hand's a better player, and because Strong, he really didn't show up at all. I don't think he had anything that made the stat sheet at all. So I sure hope so, because they could really use him.
Grifka, didn't you learn anything from Jim Schwartz? Hope's not a strategy, buddy. Like, do you think he'll play or not? Yes or no?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what's wrong with the guy, but he's been out a really extended period. So until I see him start practicing and the ball really start rolling that direction, I mean, I'd be surprised if he just all of a sudden suits up. But we really need him, and it's just a bummer kind of across the board that he can't build off what he kind of ended the season last year with. But hope he gets back. And I think people are overlooking the fact that we don't have the young pup, the rookie Austin Bryant out there. He hasn't been in any training camps, anything. It's going to be one of those Lions picks where it's just like a redshirt year where he just does nothing. If he doesn't get it going, I mean, they IR'd him, so he can't even really do anything till week 8. Like, I'm really hoping he's ready to rock and roll, when he's eligible to come back. But yeah, between Bryant and Hand, it's hurting our defense, I think, going overlooked a little bit too. Next question: which receivers will get the most targets in the Lions offense? What do you think about that?
For the season, or if I'm going to go with Amendola, because he had double-digit targets on that game Sunday. I think Stafford's trying to make him kind of like his Golden Tate, wherever he needs a hot receiver or he's looking to get out of trouble. He's looking for one particular guy, and I believe he's gonna do that a lot with Danny Amendola. So I think he's going to be the guy that's going to get the most targets.
Grifka, you understand that a target means like when the ball's thrown at you, right?
Yes.
So you really think that over the entirety of the 2019 NFL football season for our Detroit Lions, you think that we're going to look back and Danny Amendola is going to lead the team in targets?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Like, I'm here to tell you, like, I think Amendola can be a good football player. I think he's going to make plays as he did on Sunday, but I'm telling you, if he leads us in targets, that's a huge issue because the guy's projected to barely have maybe 30 to 50 catches during the year. I said he can maybe get up in those, 60 to 80-ish range. So if you're only catching 60, 80, you're probably getting less than, not even 100 targets. Like you can't have that lead your team. I mean, I would sure hope that the leading target getter is going to be a guy on the outside like Kenny, Marv, or even, getting a lot of balls to the best case scenario for an Amendola is to be like that complementary piece that makes plays, but we don't want to see him on the field like a good chunk of the time. We want him play a role and play it well and do that. So if you're throwing the ball at Danny Amendola 100 to 120 times, man, we got issues with our playmakers, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kenny on that. I think they look for him a lot this week. I think he's going to just get the juices turned up even more, and they're just going to have to feed this guy. So that's my call. I'd love to see TJ Hockenson, though. That'd be great. Let's go. We got another question here. So we'll just wrap it up with this one. This is Kurt. He asks us, do you anticipate more of Jesse James helping out the offensive tackles this week? He said maybe use him as a safety valve, which, let me take this one first. I mean, we know Jesse James is your boy. I mean, you love tight ends. But I think with Hockenson producing the way he did, I feel like, that Jesse James may get a little more play in the passing game, but I do feel like they'll keep him as well as Hawk in a little bit more to help with the tackles. As you noted, the edge rushers, Bosa and Ingram, are no joke. So I think you will see that a little bit more, and I don't mind it. Like I say, I'm not the guy who was saying that Hawkinson's going to average 100-some yards per game and he's going to score all this. I mean, I put out my stats for you, 60 to 70, in that yardage range I threw out, and possibly double-digit TDs if it all goes well, or 7 on the low end was kind of where I was at. So, yeah, I think they would stay in, and I don't mind it. Whatever the tight ends have to do, blocking, passing, receiving, whatever it is to get W's, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I believe that as well. They did it late in the game against the Cardinals. I mean, helping out your boy Taylor Decker. They helped him. So yeah, I could see that happening here as well. Like you said, we're gonna talk about the San Diego game here coming up on Friday. But it could be one of those things where, like you said, they use it as safety valves, both of them, just to chip and go. Was it on Galladay's touchdown? He did that. He chipped. So it really kind of, the defense wasn't looking for it. He stayed in a couple extra seconds, then he ran out into his route and he's wide open. So I could see more plays like that happening, just to help the tackles and hopefully help against that San Diego pass rush.
So Griffin, when you started out your answer, you kind of said I'm with you on that one. I mean, that's basically a synonym for.
I agree with you.
Absolutely, good stuff, man. Good show, man. Jam-packed full of stuff. Had a lot of fun. Only one other thing left to do. I mean, you got anything else? I don't know, for the people?
Nope.
People, I'm telling you, I don't know when it's going to happen. It might be another calendar year or two, but at some point, Grifka's going to have something at the end of one of these shows. It's going to blow everybody's mind. But until then, really good, fun show, not a fun football game. Everybody's got to get over that, put that in the back of the car, back window, and look forward to the Chargers coming up, which we'll talk about on Friday. So everybody hit up that Detroit Koolaid Cast listener line. Make us laugh. We'll put you on the show. Hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Derek Okrie, DEREK OKRIE. You can get Grifka at Grifka DKC. And we'll be back here Friday morning dropping another episode of the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. We're out.
Pack the bag. Start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.